Greetings, Elder Blacklight. I'm going to give you the benefit of my experience living here in America. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want real black power. And I'm fighting the power to be with my experience on this planet. 72 years. All things considered, I see the whole picture. And it's easy to see because things are so repetitious. You know, they repeat themselves, but it might get more sophisticated. The name might change, but the game is the same. The more things change, the more things stays the same. But the way we got to look at the United States of America, it's a big business. Countries nowadays are turning into businesses, and they are using the resources that's on the planet, including human beings, and marketing them. And they're making money off of every subject matter that you can come across. Black power, white power, Asian power, any kind of ideas or thoughts, they commercialize it. And they could guide your choices. Choices, in reality, are created by you. But you could be born into a world where your choices are made for you, and you don't realize it. However, YouTube, it's a commercial, whether you know it or not. It's a commercial entity. Now, it may have started out as, well, you could express yourself, but it turned into a commercial money-making enterprise. And what it did was provide an opportunity for the average, so-called average person who has a computer or any kind of device to make money off of. And when you start making money, you're going to get taxed. But also, the money that you make is controlled, by modern technology, according to the device that you're using. So I said all that to say that the court of public opinion is what the YouTube and other media, other social media, is what they make money off of. They zoom in on your thoughts, what the majority think, but the majority could be led I don't never go with the crowd. I think opposite. I learned that over my years of living on this planet, because that word trend, you know, is a science, and most people are trendy. But dig this. I mean, it's good to be trendy when you want to use it as a means to speak to your people. And television, costs a lot of money. Radio costs a lot of money to get a show on television and radio. But YouTube and other social devices, all you got to do is pay for the technology, and it don't cost you nothing. So most people chose to get paid off of it. Anytime you get paid off of it, you're going to be controlled to a certain degree. Now look, while y'all looking at all these philosophers and scholars and debating on things, I'm going to bring up something that you don't hear no leader, some things that you don't hear no leader talking about in depth. They hit it for a minute, then quit it. No black leaders, most of them don't talk about these things. I made a list. I'm going to read from this list, and then I'm going to comment about some of the things that's on my list. Number one, slavery. Slavery can be classified as a war crime. We could be classified as prisoners of war. Also, torture and genocide was in most of slavery. Out of that slavery, they made us free slaves. That's an oxymoron right there, free slaves. They didn't say they made us free men and women. They said they made us free slaves. Freed slaves. Still a slave, but what did that word freedom really mean? If you're still a slave. They didn't say freed men and women, or freed Negroes, or freed whatever they called us. 40 acres and a mule. Now, reparations is a subject that's brought up now, but a white woman is running her platform for 2020 is going to be reparations. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad been talking about reparations and others. I mean, on every paper, the Final Call and Muhammad Speaks, they talking about a form of reparations, but they asking for land. And this Caucasian woman is talking about money. The money they say that they owe us, you could make a country out of it, And they working out an angle, but we shouldn't turn that down. We should call it bluff. That's number one. Number two is the Dred Scott Supreme Court case. Black lawyers don't talk about that. They don't team up and get a clear-cut understanding about citizenship. Number three is civil rights. That's a hint to us, tell us that we're really not citizens. the Civil Rights Act. Does this prove that black Americans are not Americans? Equal Rights Act. Why? Because why we got to have all that? You know, none of this was in the Constitution. Federal Reserve. That's a crime against the Constitution when you look at it. No one wants to, white or black, black lawyers want to deal with that fact. The creation of the King Alfred in the Rex 84. No one wants to bring that up, talk about it. I mean, we mumble, to each other about it, but we don't take it to the politicians and find out if it's really such a thing as this. I mean, someone said that they had it on paper, but we don't know. The news don't even talk about it. The news don't even talk about what I'm talking about. And certainly these brothers like Polite and Shetty and all them brothers, they might have once mentioned it, but they don't stay on it. So we get into the root of all things. The Iran-Contra, is number 8. We got to find out about that. Then number 9 is Bush illegal wars. Both of the Bush, Big Papa and Little Junior. 9/11. Who's looking into that? Just a small segment of the population. Most of the time it's white people that's looking into these things. Black people don't look into them things. Most of what you see on black media and what they talk about, black news, they talk about Jesse Ferguson. They talk about what's his name, Jesse Smollett. Entertainment stuff. They quit talking about Ferguson. I had that run across my mind. Ferguson and how the police was out of pocket in Ferguson, St. Louis. They discovered that the police was really crooked, but you don't hear about it no more. Bush illegal wars, war crimes in Iraq, the illegal war in Iraq. Rigging elections. Elections was rigged. All the time, no one talks about that. So, I'm going to shut this down, make a list for yourself, make a list for yourself, and find out what your brothers and sisters are talking about on this YouTube and other social medias. And if they're not talking about this, they fake. They just want to talk about what everybody else is talking about. It's not going to solve our situation. That's one brother that he's pretty consistent in talking about what needs to be talked about. And but even the Nation of Islam, it's like tabloid news. They come out, with what everybody else is talking about, but they don't talk about what I'm talking about. So I made a list. Y'all make a list, and that's what y'all talk about. This is Black Light.